Welcome to my channel. Pakistan International Airlines Flight 8303. A big thank you to my viewer who suggested today's content. Pakistan International Airlines Flight 8303 was a scheduled domestic flight from Allama Iqbal International Airport to Jinnah International Airport in Karachi. The aircraft was an Airbus A320, and was being piloted by Captain Sajid Gul. His first officer was Usman Azam. The flight took off from Lahore at 13:05 on May 22, 2020. There were 99 people on board that day. The journey was supposed to take 90 minutes, and it was near to the end of its journey when disaster struck. The aircraft crashed at around 14:45 into a densely populated neighborhood of Model Colony. Witnesses shortly before the plane crashed reported seeing the wings on fire. The pilots radioed air traffic control reporting landing gear issues and the failure of both engines, shortly before the aircraft crashed. Air traffic control cleared the flight for emergency landing, as they knew without landing gear the aircraft would need to land on its belly. The aircraft made a go-around instead of landing, and it was just 12 seconds later that the pilots declared a Mayday emergency, which would be their final communication. It is believed that when the pilots made their first attempt at landing, the aircraft's left engine is believed to have scraped the runway, and it believed by officials that damage had already been caused to the engines from ground contact, making it impossible for the aircraft to maintain altitude, leading to the aircraft to crash on its return back to the airport. Jinnah Airport was surrounded by urban areas. It is believed that at least 25 properties suffered damage due to the crash, and around 18 houses were destroyed or badly damaged. Sadly, 97 people died as a result of the crash. These were those on board the aircraft. Around 30 people on the ground were taken to hospital for their injuries. These were mostly due to burns. One of the injured people on the ground sadly died 10 days later from their injuries. It is believed that only 2 people from the aircraft survived. The last routine maintenance check on the aircraft had taken place on March 21, 2020. The aircraft had been grounded from March 22 to May 7, 2020 due to the pandemic. Due to the extent of the burns on the victims, DNA testing had to be carried out to help identify some of the victims. A state of emergency was declared at Karachi's hospitals. The government announced a compensation to each of the families of those who were killed, and for those 2 survivors. An investigation was launched into the cause of the crash of Flight 8303. The investigation was conducted by Pakistan's Aircraft Accident Investigation Board. The United States National Transportation Safety Board also offered to help with the investigation. The aircraft's data recorder, and the cockpit voice recorder were located and flown off to France to be investigated. A report was published on June 22, 2020. It stated that both the air traffic controller and the flight crew's actions were thought to have been contributing factors, which ultimately led to the crash of Flight 8303. The investigation into the crash is still ongoing at this time. We forever remember all those people who sadly died that day. May you never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to view other content.